because after going through many different kind of things in my life, some very painful, traumatic, and also good things that God has done, I realized that in the journey of life, God is like God working, like the weaver works through a basket or doing something with the threads. And I realized that from down here, we see the mess of our lives, we see the failures, we see the pains, but from above, the Master sees the beauty of what He's making out of us. And through my life, I decided it is good to be able to share my story, because as somebody said, every life is a story if we care enough to listen. And so I wrote this book to just be able to bring hope to somebody who may be feeling hopeless, to bring, restoration where there is desperation, and to tell you that God gives a second chance in life, but you must be willing to take that chance. And so I welcome you to order a copy of this book. It is only 1,000 shillings, and or $10 for those who are outside of the country. You can order through the number on the screen, and we'll be able to get you a copy of this book. God bless you as you read it. Give it to somebody else, and I know they will be helped. Amen.
To KBN, Kingdom Business Network. We're so much excited to be coming to where you are right now, and we want to equip you with tips on businesses. And today we want to discuss a topic which is very, very interesting, a topic on why businesses fail and how you can avoid the failure traps. Because a lot of businesses, when they start, they reach a place whereby they start to struggle. And we want to have a discussion which will equip you on how you can identify those issues and how you can be able to avoid them and have actionable insights that can help you move your business to the next level. And to help us unpack that is none other than Stanley Museti, who is a business and leadership strategist. And you can introduce yourself, Stanley.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, KBN. My name is Stanley Museti, as you've heard. I'm the founder and executive director to Leadership International. That's a youth-led disruptive leadership and transformative leadership training program for the young people, most especially. I'm also the co-founder of Global Young Entrepreneurs Forum, where I work with three other co-founders, just talking about businesses in terms of kingdom. How can the young people influence the marketplace in the area of business? As well, I'm a practicing businessman. Yes, I have a fashion business. It's called Master Drip. So where we dress people for power, for presence, and for purpose. Thank you.
Power, presence, and purpose.
Yes.
PPP.
Yes.
I like that. Welcome very much, Stanley. My co-host, Lewis Ndege, introduce yourself, please.
Once again, our viewers, welcome aboard. And this is your digital coach, Lewis Ndege. And my studies today tell me that 75% of businesses in Africa are currently failing because of what we call poor business management and other principles like cash flow and all that. And guess what? Today we have Stanley Museti in the house so that we can unpack those particular things that lead to failure in businesses. And once again, the easiest way for you to be of support to this particular mission, and so that we can continue impacting you as a business person, I want to remind you to continue liking, commenting, and sharing this particular program to as many people as possible. And by that, we will have achieved all together. Thank you and welcome so much, Stanley.
Asante.
Welcome very much, Lewis.
Thank you,
and
sir.
for the viewer, remember that this program is coming straight to you and it's for you. We're here to equip you. Therefore, please start sending the questions that you've had, especially on the area of business failure and how you can avoid those failure traps. And to start us off, I would like to ask Stanley.
Yes, sir.
What warning signs show a business is in financial trouble? Because I think kila kitu nowadays is ni pesa.
Jameni, it's true. The sole reason every businessman is indulging into business is for them to, one, provide value for the population or for the customer. Number two, it's to solve a certain problem. Then number three, for them to make profit in return. And the apparatus that are making these three things possible are supposed to be financed by the business as well. So number one, if the cash flow record keeping has not been kept really properly, you're not able to notice how money is moving from the assets, how is it balancing with the liabilities, how are the buying of the products, are the suppliers paid on time, are the customers receiving their products and even they're being delivered in good time. So number one, it's cash flow records. Are you able to notice when a receipt comes in? Are you able to notice when it is stored? Then number two, when you're not able to pay debts on time. So if you have a problem with your loaner, you are defaulting many times here and there, you've not been able, you're also going to look for another loan to finance the current one. So if you're not able to pay your loans on time, you're in a financial struggle. Then number three, if you're not able to pay your employees on time as well. So that indicates that the business is not, the financial life or the financial structure of that particular business entity has not been taken care of. So it's incumbent of that particular business owner to take care of the suppliers, the employees, and the customers, so that all the processes, all the procedures are all achieved for the sole process of making profit. Yes.
So when you look at a business which is having poor financial management,
Yes.
what is the cause and what should be the remedy in short?
Poor financial management. Number one of the things that is very critical is the business owner needs to invest in financial knowledge. Literacy is the first step. Know how money works and how it's supposed to be entering the business and exiting the business. So understand those frameworks. Number two, create a concrete financial structure. So when there's a problem of how money is flowing and who touches the money when, then there's a problem in the structure. And when there's a problem in the structure, the system cannot respect the money. So the money ends up in the wrong hands or the money ends up in the wrong priorities. And in the long run, it's improperly mismanaged. So it's critical that you invest in financial literacy as the business owner, and as well teach your people or your employees how the money is flowing, which pipeline is it using when it enters and when it exits. Number two, create a concrete financial structure so that if it's invoicing, you invoice on time. If there's a delivery note, all those processes are all aware, all the employees are aware of those particular processes. Then number three, and lastly, keep learning and getting feedback from your employees or from your mentors who have gone ahead of time. And when you create a relationship with the relationship manager of a bank, keep consulting from them. If the bank, you need to extend some time to pay your loan, just consult them on time so that you do not default and you lose your credibility. Yes.
In the area of financial management, when you look at small businesses, and I'm talking about, let's say, people are just starting up.
Yes.
What common financial issue is more prevalent than the other that causes issues?
Mostly is the business owner not separating his personal finance from the business finance. So there is a mixture, or rather making a blend of the accounts. So if the business is making money, instead of you separating the profit, You're using revenue as personal income. You're using revenue to pay yourself instead of plowing it back to the business. Mostly, the biggest conflict is always that, especially for the new sole proprietorship, the new businesses. You find the owner has not separated the personal account from the business account. He does not. If he has Pochi, the same Pochi he's using for his normal transfers and payments in his bills, he's the same Pochi he's using for business. So that conflict is that it does not know when the money for business has entered and how it was used for the business. So the business might end up falling into bankruptcy, and sometimes even conflicting with suppliers, conflicting with the employees as well, and you land in bad hands.
Okay.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes, sir.
What is going through your mind when you hear about this?
I'm loving the conversation, and thank you so much, because I believe we have so many young people, many of them who are actually very stranded. But this takes me to a question about when I was doing my studies, I realized that among the top causes of business failure today is failing to meet the market needs.
Yes.
You see, so many people are beginning startups and all that, but very few are doing what we call a market research.
Yes.
So that they can identify what we call gaps and such. So to that young entrepreneur, what would you tell them in such a time, especially on matters to do with market research and analysis?
Fantastic. Statistics say, and they're very clear, say that 61% of all the businesses, especially youth-led businesses, rarely do a market analysis before they enter into the market. So we have a lot of assumptions, assuming that this product, their shop selling this particular product, its demand is remarkable, or it has some tendency of providing profit. So we've not identified a specific need to deal with in that particular context. So customer analysis is very key, and I'm going to talk about three key things that individual is supposed to be checking in profiling the needs of this particular customer. Number one is the demographics. Understand the age group you're targeting. Understand the location they're in. Understand what kind of lifestyle is in that particular region. And when you understand that, you can easily know if you can't be selling certain kinds of suits to young people. They like best fitting suits. They don't like already made suits for them. There are people you go to, you cannot take pork to an Indian community. So you need to go and analyze, is there really, number one, is there a specific need? Is this need really a problem? And are the people willing to pay for that particular problem? And then is the solution going to cause an impact in solving this particular problem? So demographics. The number two is psychographics. You know, the mind of a person is very critical in deciding what product they're going to be using. And when you're looking at the young person, when I'm coming to buy a phone, I want to know that it has a good camera, it has some good video, it has the needs I need in fulfilling the things I do daily. So understand, what do they think? What commands their decision making? Peer reviews. What commands the product they're buying? So what trends are we seeing? Then lastly, customer behavior. How do they behave around certain products? Or how do they respond to changes in the market? Right now, you can see businesses like Think Twice. They've mastered the Mtumba market. And as young people, I can easily go there, maybe number one, because of trends, then number two, because of price. So once I master these three things, I can be able to profile my clients to profile my product to fit the needs of the market. Then number two, I need to understand the competitor analysis. And in competitor analysis, there's something we call the 5 Ps. So that we can profile ourselves around it and then fix yourself so that you can differentiate yourself amongst many other businesses. Number one is product. So what product are they offering? Is it in the same line? Number two, what price? Are they expensive or cheaper? So that as you're pricing, you can now attract the clients who can afford to the level you are at. And then number three is place. Which location are they in? Number four is promotion. Which platforms are they advertising, and which platforms do they have high traction? So that as we're competing on Facebook, I can know what effort to put in my digital marketing. And as we're competing on Instagram, I can know what effort to put in my Instagram marketing. If you have an e-commerce platform, and if they do not have, how can I leverage that particular platform and differentiate myself amongst my competitors? Then I need to do a SWOT analysis of both my competitors. So these are their strengths and how are they leveraging them. These are their weaknesses. How can I benefit from the weaknesses? This is the opportunity I can see in their weaknesses, and how can I utilize it as a business opportunity? Then lastly, how do I become of value in the midst of their strengths? And how do we begin to battle with each other fairly and legally? Thank you.
So would you say that assumptions kill businesses?
Yes, assumptions kill a lot of businesses.
Why would you say so?
The fact that a product is demanded in Luthuli and people are getting it doesn't mean it will be relevant in Wetethia.
True.
So the needs of Wetethia are different, but the needs of Luthuli are different. So us running on an assumption that this shop is doing well and we've not found out the business secrets they're using to maneuver in the market, then we are running on a blind scope. We are running on a blind map. So us guide, the fact that you know a business is profitable does not make it profitable for you. Maybe number one, you're not talented to do it. Number two, you're not talented to do it. Number three, you're not anointed to do it, you're not talented to do it, you're not trained properly to do it. So you can enter there blindly thinking you're going to hack it, and then within the shortest time, you contribute to the statistics you're seeing. Yes.
And I think with that, we had a lot of Me Too businesses.
Yes.
An example is along Kamakis, when they started in Nyamachoma. And every other person who came, the only business they started was Nyamachoma.
Yes.
And before long, the whole street or road was all Nyamachoma.
Yes.
But when you go there today, a number of years after, those Nyamachoma joints are all disappearing.
Oh, yes.
Because they realized it's no longer profitable.
Yes.
And now we have people new coming up with other ideas in terms of even what they can offer along that road.
Yes.
And it's becoming another hub for business.
Oh, yes.
We get people who are doing house accessories and all that, all over.
Yeah.
Okay, when you look at issues that businesses face and why they fail, there's also the issue of inadequate marketing and also branding and lack of a marketing strategy. What is your thought? Is that a major issue, and how should we mitigate against that?
Yes, marketing is a major issue because if I'm not aware of your product, I'll not be concerned about it. Even the reason you go for Toyota, it's because at some point in your life, you got aware of it, either through direct referral or you saw an ad. So marketing is as essential as moving the business from an idea to execution. And without marketing, without that awareness, people who need without that awareness, it's hard for your business to penetrate the market. So it's very critical that people get to market their products. And by marketing, what I'm meaning is make your customer aware. You identifying your customer is not a problem. It's not the last of the process. The second process is making the product you're selling aware, or rather make the customer come in touch with that particular product. And once they come in touch, they can either make a sale or refer somebody else to do that particular thing. So in a world today, if you're not marketing, then you're facing yourself out. Gone are those days when you would call your relative, come take a product, and then they go tell their friends to come. It's in marketing. But nowadays, I mean, the world we are in right now, it's the world of digital marketing. Who is not on phone? I can see your gadget, very nice gadget. I can see coach there, a gadget. And we spend most of our time on screens. And when we're spending most of our time, everything is competing for attention. But at least let that attention be, one of the things competing for attention is your product. And the more I am focused on that, once it gets my attention, I can now either get closer sell with you or not. So branding and marketing is very critical. And there's some things I would like the people there to get to know about branding. There are few phenomena. I'll not get more time to discuss about all of them, but it's critical you get to know about brand promise. It's critical you get to know about brand story, critical you get to know about brand management, brand experience. All these things, having a company is not the same as having a brand. Very many companies exist and they're not brands.
They're not brands.
And a brand, when we talk about personal branding as an individual, there is a person, then there is a brand. Similarly, companies have personas. So we give some sense of humanity to it, so that when you see this company and when you come in touch with it, there's a feeling you get to feel. And somebody said that we don't buy products for what they are. We buy because of why they're being sold. So if there is an inspiration as to why this suit is being sold, I might buy it without looking at the material. Why? The inspiration behind it has made me connect to something different. That's now a brand. So it's critical that you tell your story. Tell your story when you're producing. Do some production. Do some content around there. When you're delivering, do some content around there. That's still branding. When you're gathering your team, do some story around it. Then brand promise. deliver on what you promise people are going to deliver. If you said this product is going to be delivered to your place at 10 a.m., make sure 9:59 the client is receiving a call. Brand orientation. Orient your team on how you need the process to be moving. Many business owners the startups rarely take time to orient their teams. So the owner is very cognizant of all the processes, but the team is not aware of how the processes are moving. Then lastly, brand experience. The reason you go buying the same product from the same person is because of how you experience customer service, their customer service. And how you experience, how you come in touch with them enables you to perhaps do what? Come back again. And it's important you take care of a brand experience, because that is what preserves your reputation, brand reputation. And brand reputation gives you credibility, authority, and power in the particular market. Then when it comes to marketing, it's very critical that you come to a place where your business is properly positioned digitally. Why don't you have a Facebook page in this world of digital marketing? Why don't you have a TikTok page? I know you do not like all those content, but your business is missing on clients on TikTok. Why don't you have an Instagram page? If you're not able to do that by yourself, the agency is doing what? Doing that for who are willing to do that for you. So why is it that as a business owner you don't have merchandise that is marketing what you're doing? Your friends don't know about your product branding. So you're missing on the extent. I mean, mostly for you to scale properly, you must market properly, because the pool you've been attracting and the pool you've not attracted are all in the same vicinity. Only that you need to have an access point to those particular markets. So it's critical that we get to invest in marketing, and there are very many strategies. There are very many tools that you can use out here. AI has come. You can write a social media management, social media marketing strategy with them. Canva, free of charge. You can do your posters with them. Poster My Wall, and very many other sites that have changed or revolutionized how we do digital marketing. So there's no excuse for that. You're missing on the money you've not tapped into. Yes.
Wow. I think I'm enjoying so far.
Yes.
And I believe even our business people who are viewing us today are really enjoying and getting impactful insights. And there's a conversation around undervaluing product quality.
Yes.
And this is where during orientation, as you called the brand orientation, you introduced to us a very good quality of a product.
Yes.
But as we progress now, because you also need to increase your profit margin, and now the cost of operation is still very high.
Yeah.
You think now undervaluing your quality is what is going to save your day.
Oh, yes.
But we've seen businesses collapsing as a result of undervaluing your quality.
Oh, yes.
So what would you tell our viewer today, especially in that line of we want to increase or extend our profit margin, but the cost of operation is still very high, our taxes are still very high, and everything else, every other business solution that we want to onboard, still very expensive. Yet we have to actively engage in a conversation of increasing our profit margin.
That's a very interesting question and a very relevant question in the context of Africa. And one thing, when you're not fulfilling that which you promised the client or even the teams that you bought into your organization with, is you're not fulfilling your brand promise. So I'm hoping I'm speaking to purpose-driven entrepreneurs. I'm not just speaking to people who are in business to make profit. They're in business to make a difference as well. So when you're looking forward to change, to do some shifting in your pricing mechanism so that you can make profit, you need to also go and check your brand palette. Did you promise your clients this is the level of quality that you're going to lower to in case things change in the market? Because as the customer, you're also aware when economical times change, and they're not. I'm not willing to go and buy a cheaper suit from somebody else because it's cheaper. I want to know that the suit I'm going to get from that particular person, apart from it being cheaper, it is to the quality that fits my brand.
It gives me the value
it gives me the value I'm looking. And one case scenario that is very relevant in this particular context is Toyota. I know guys use Toyota machines, and if not, you know how it came about from the 1980s to 2000. So they even introduced a total quality management department, and the work was just to maintain quality
Sure.
within the affordable rate. So their cars are not as expensive, but their quality has remained constant. If it's when it comes to their spares, you can always get them on time. When it comes to importing them, you can always import them with ease. And that disrupted the market quite aggressively. I remember there's a time when the Japan cars had begun to gain traction. Then all of a sudden they began to compete with Toyota. So Toyota, because of maintaining quality, they were able to rise to ranks. I think in 2000s when they brought these SUVs that are common right now in the political space right now.
The Prado.
Cruisers or what?
Not really. There's a name for them. Once I get, I'll tell you. Corolla came into being that time because of just maintaining quality. Most of the middle class people began to attract it. And what they did, there's a principle called Kaizen. So from design to customer service, they maintained quality. So how we are designing, in fact, there is another principle within them. It's called an add-on code, something of that sort. So if there is a problem in our production process in terms of quality, and you're the person in that particular chain, you are informed, you are allowed to make an emergency call. Why? They don't want to compromise on their quality, and that has kept them at top of their market. So reducing quality is not a pricing mechanism, and that is putting yourself out of the market. So just get to know how much the customer is willing to pay, then stabilize within your means. If you're offering quality, you're always going to win the game. If you're offering quality anytime, you're always going to win the game. And if you need to lower the price, then your clientele is wrong.
And can we talk of our Kenyan market, to be precise?
Yes.
Where the market is known for purchasing them that are affordable, mostly.
Yes.
And you realize that most businesses at the entry level will attract us with quality and affordability.
Yes.
But sustaining that particular narrative is very difficult.
Yes.
So would you call a promise of quality and a customer acquisition strategy?
It is a customer acquisition strategy, but in fulfilling your promise, it's a breach of contract. Because if you promised me quality, it is also relative, because the customers you're attracting, what is quality to you is not quality to me.
Relative.
It's relative. And if me as the client, you've attracted me, you've told me this suit is cotton, this suit is ribbon, and this is the rate I'm getting it for. You've not told me about the price. So what we can do is a lot of stabilizing the prices within ourselves is match your prices with the market price. Then remain true. Just remain true. Within no time, don't fluctuate. Remain true and build trust, because trust builds brands, and brands are what runs companies. So just be consistent and be patient. That is what one of the major things I'll encourage. Don't rush for the profits when you're beginning. Don't rush for them.
But patience is also very expensive.
But patience is very, very expensive. But in the long run, it pays.
If I get you right, you're saying that you should maintain the product quality.
Yes.
You can look for ways of reducing cost.
Yes.
But not reducing the quality.
The quality.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of people in trying to reduce the costs. They reduce the quality.
Reduce the quality.
Actually, that's the easiest.
It's the easiest to reduce.
So if you are, weaving your suit with a very high quality wool, then you go to the second grade, so that you can offer your suit at a lower price.
Yes.
Then you've already compromised the quality.
You've compromised
that
it.
messes you up.
Yes.
For the viewers who are watching us, we have 1 or 2 minutes to go, and we need you to start sending your questions now, because we want Stanley to answer your particular question on why businesses fail. Some of you might have been trying to run a business, and then you've reached a brick wall and you can't see the way forward. We are here to answer that question. So before we do that, before we take the short break, I want one question answered here.
Yes, sir.
Or you think about this question about businesses which fail to adapt or to innovate. What can you say about that? Is that an issue in the Kenyan market, of business failing to adapt and to innovate? And what is that?
Amazing. Innovation or invention is the mother of all great things. So if we do not move, and one of the things I'm afraid of is coming to a world that has moved ahead of me. I'm afraid of that as an entrepreneur. Or getting the world moving faster than me. Yet I'm the person supposed to be controlling my world. So very many businesses will begin at a global scale. We're aware of them. Companies like Nokia, BlackBerry, Blockbuster. They're companies that fail to adapt on time. Yes, they've tried to catch up with time, but they failed to listen to the core, or rather to understand the season. If you are in the spirit, you understand that. Because for every product, when you're moving around the cycle, there's a season when it begins to plateau, and it's time for you to innovate. And most of the time, it was because of governance issues in those particular companies. You'll find the CEOs are not willing to innovate, or one afraid of scaling up to that particular idea because it is new, and they're afraid of losing their clients. So the failure to adapt is very common in the country, and this is because mostly when you look at the generational cycles, how they respond to change is very different. There are people who have a growth mindset, and the people who are now learning in the baby boomers, the silent generation, who are learning to now adapt slowly. They're even taking lessons in AI and all those. So times change. So should your business. There's a time when you need to change your product line, but still remain within the offering. There are times I'll take an example of my mother. My mother used to do hawking business, and I'm happy and glad that I was the first person to identify a specific spot, the location that made it possible for her. But what she's selling today, that time she used to sell some cereals, but what she's selling today is different from what she used to sell that time. Same spot, but different product line. So failing to adapt to what the customers want is gonna throw you out of business. Failing to innovate when it is relevant for you to innovate throws you out of business. If right now your business has not automated some of the systems, you're still behind, you're lagging behind. If you do not have a digital marketing team, a content creation team, you're still lagging behind. If you do not understand project management systems, you're still behind. You've not adapted the agile teams and tech teams, all those things, you're still lagging behind. So when you lag behind, if I'm your competitor and I've taken that step, you know who's controlling the market. I'm doing it. So failure to adapt is throwing yourself out of business. And when you throw yourself out of business, you're contributing to the statistic of every failure you're seeing currently. So it's incumbent of every businessman or to have a culture of continuous learning. And a culture of continuous learning enables you to see changes when they're coming. It enables you to see dynamics when they're shifting. When there's a change in policy, you know how to manipulate your product to fit that particular context. You can see somebody looked at COVID as a crisis. Somebody else benefited from COVID as an opportunity.
We'll come to that. Let's take a short 2 minutes break. And for the viewers who are watching us, thank you very much for staying tuned. We are here because of you. And please consider to support this program, to support this channel. The numbers are on your screen. You can look at a way of supporting us. You can send your donation. You can pray for us. You can like the video, especially on YouTube, whatever you can do, but make sure you do something. And as we come for the second part, after 2 minutes, please send your questions and we will address your question. Thank you very much.
Faith Today TV is here to make your brand outstanding. Worry not on where to advertise your business or your product. Call us on 0114 777 000 or email us on info@faithtodaytv.co.ke.
Hello there, my name is Enoch. Taking care of your health should be a top priority. Looking at the various engagements that we have today, it is so easy to forget about our health, mental well-being. That is why we introduce to you the Healthy You Talk Show, a brand new show that is going to address matters concerning your health, nutrition, stress management, mental health, name it. We bring to you a wide range of experts who are going to be touching pertinent issues concerning our health. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. live on Faith Today TV.
Welcome once again to the second part of this KBN program, and we've been discussing about why businesses fail and how can we come up with ways in which we can be able to ensure that our business that we start continue to run for years and years. Actually, in Africa, one of the things we need to ensure is that when you start a business, you should be able to hand over that business to your children and their children's children, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations. And because when you look at around and you see people like some of the communities that we have in this country, the business that they are running today came from their grandfathers. Some of them came to build the Kenyan radio, you know the people I'm talking about, and today they have big corporations in this country. So why can't we also do the same? And to help us unpack that has been Stanley, and we're discussing about adapting and innovation. Yes. And you talked about Corona. What lessons do you learn from Corona?
Corona for me was an opportunity. Corona for me was an opportunity. However much people were complaining, but I chose the other side of the coin, looking at what opportunities available in this particular conundrum. Lessons we learned from the COVID time is if you've not automated your business as yet, you are going home. Number two, if you've not adopted remote systems in your management of businesses, you're still going home. If you've not adopted mechanisms of even managing, hybrid mechanisms, are you using Zoom for your meetings, or are you still preferring stand-up meetings in the offices? Are you using Loom? Do you have a way of are you providing value apart from the product you're offering from your clients? And as people are looking at it as a crisis, there are businesses that were looking at it as an opportunity. So how prepared are you for future crisis? How prepared are you for future changes? Because such things are happening. You've had the monkeypox coming up. You've had even the revolution we are seeing currently. It also has an effect in terms of business. It has an effect in terms of how you run business normally. Because when it is a Mandamano day, yesterday, a friend of mine was telling me, I'm working from home. But how many businesses in Kenya have been able to adopt that? So remote work. Number two, agile teams. Then number three, digital platforms that are managing your business. So it's critical you get to arm yourself with those as a businessman. Then how prepared are you? What is the work of your research and development department? And how is it changing the design and development of your product so that it fits the changes we have in the market dynamics? So it's very critical that you get to utilize every crisis as an opportunity, and you get to adapt really quickly and fast so that you can benefit from that particular market. Yes.
And we have a team that we call Mr. Do-It-All. Those are people who are very much talented in so many areas.
Yes.
And a while back, I also happened to be among that list. Actually, I almost topped the list to be in the tourism industry. I actually marked my last tour to Dubai last year in October. I used to be in the fashion industry as well. I closed my shop last year in December. I also happened to be in farming. I had a piggery. I also closed it this year, March. And today I'm now focusing in the school. And I believe we have so many, especially young people, who feel they can be in so many areas. And that's a disease, according to me, especially at startup levels. Because there's the place of focusing, and there's the place of growing something until first it is fully established. So maybe address such a person who was like me last year.
That's quite an interesting question. Somebody said that a jack of all trades is a master of none.
True.
But there's a second part of that particular adage that we rarely talk about. But it says that it's better than a master of one. So that disrupt your thought around that particular conversation. Because anytime you are beginning a business concept, you are testing a lot of waters. Is this working? Is this idea viable? Is this idea sellable? Is it profitable? And all those things. But you are missing on clarity. So what I would recommend is trickle down to 3 things you want to test. And then on those 3 things, God is going to enable you at least to die with one, if not all of them. Or choose one that is going to be the mother holding all the other ideas. Because immediately, now that you're doing the school, if you want to do fashion, you can open a fashion pipeline. If you want to do farming, you can still open a farming pipeline, and you're releasing people to do that. But the focus that you've engrossed yourself in is in building this one so that it can become a mother. So what we fail to do is to nurture. We are so much afraid of nurturing startups. Rarely do people want to nurture. You don't want to do the hard work of getting the cheapest suppliers in town. You don't want to do the hard work of waiting for your team to grow. You know, when you're starting up, you cannot afford to employ most of the people. So you perhaps partner with your friends or your family guy. So you're not allowing their skill set to match up. So we are very bad nurturers, and that makes us build things that do not last most of the time. And also, we want results aptly. I mean, promptly. We don't want to pay the price. And for anything that do not pay the price for, you want to value it. So as young people, I have discovered that we rarely allow the process. And any great businessman, they rarely sell a product. They're selling a solution. Steve Jobs doesn't sell computers. Richard Branson doesn't sell airplanes. There is some sense of convenience that people are buying. And there's a story that is told of Steve Jobs. He had gone to speak to the team, and they were waiting for him to at least mention something they were selling. And none of them was mentioned about computers. They're just telling them how lives of people are going to be changed, how the world is going to take the next frontier of the world is going to be moving, and all those things. So reduce, have some kind of, I call it visual acuity. Have some hyper focus, trickle down to 3 things, then choose one, nurture that one to become a mother of them. Then the rest of the things can become now pipelines. Because if you miss clarity, even confusing your client, they don't know if you're a jack of all trades. Who do I need to call you? But right now, I know I can call you digital coach, because that is something you've now identified yourself with, and you're willing to give any solution that is digital. You're willing to give it out. So it's incumbent of them to choose which battle to fight. Are you willing to fight 10 battles and lose them all, or fight one battle and win the 10 of the remaining battles? So for me, I take it in that particular fashion. Trickle down to three concepts, then take one, then let that one be a mother of all those other startups. Then in the long run, you're going to succeed.
When you look at businesses,
yes,
where is the place of feedback and learning in the entrepreneur's mindset?
Yes.
And does failure to take feedback affect businesses, and what should you do about it?
Amazing. I've interacted with a lot of business owners, and they rarely pick customer feedback fairly or respectfully. For me, customer feedback is free consulting. Those are the people who are dealing with my products most of the times. So they know what they interact with my product at a personal level. So when they're giving a recommendation, it's truly a real recommendation. It's not out of jealousy, it's not out of competition, it's not out of luck. They're truly saying that. So for me, I take feedback, customer feedback, as free consulting. So the place of feedback is very critical, both from employees, your business mentors, and your customer. Your business mentors have gone ahead of the market scope, and they understand what's happening and any changes they're seeing and how it is affecting your business. They're very apt. If they're truly your true mentors, they'll tell you what's happening. They happen as sponsors, mentioning your names in the right rooms. So if you're receiving proper feedback in how markets change, they can easily now recommend you to places where the markets have now been introduced. The number 2, employee feedback. So you've been micromanaging them. You've not been paying them on time. You've not been appreciating talent. You've not been building them in terms of skill. Then when they come to complain, you begin to defend yourself. So you're missing out on the opportunity of having the best workforce by you just simply listening. So it's critical as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, you have an active listening ear, an ear that is not just responsive. It's giving the proper action in accordance to what the clients or the employees want. Then lastly, even the market feedback. We rarely take testimonials online very, very, very fairly or very, very, very respectfully. We think these people perhaps are trying to brandish our names. They're trying to take advantage. And all those things. But if we can take that as metric to check what we are doing in our processes and our procedures and improve on them, not every feedback is positive. Not every feedback is useful. So it's the work of a leader. That's why you're a leader. It's the work of a leader to sieve what to take in and what to filter. It's the work of a leader to sieve what to answer and not what to answer. But being silent is not a choice, or being condescending is not a choice. So it is important when an employee brings a complaint, have a framework of how it can be followed up. When a customer brings feedback, have some way of reacting to it so that both sides are benefiting. Win-win. When your mentors, corporate mentors, are bringing feedback, have some sense of common ground on what you're receiving as value. So I find that quite feedback is the highest form of, great feedback can scale a business to the next level. Great feedback, customer testimonials. I find this particular thing best. If you can shift this gear to this particular area, I believe your car will take over the market. And if you risk to do just that, then you have that capacity of taking over the market. So it's critical that they get to respect each other respectfully. Then you get to engage in active listening. Don't just listen to respond, listen to understand, then respond. Then lastly, create an environment where people can speak up. So a safe space for your employees to come and share their views, a safe space for people to come and interact with you. Let them not look at you as a lion who's just roaring. Sometimes be the lamb when you're just chilling.
Wonderful. Let's take a few of the questions that have been sent by the viewers. And thank you very much, those who've sent the questions. Starting with George. George is asking, saying good morning. The question is, why do so many businesses fail within the first 5 years? Is it because of poor planning or external factors? Maybe you can just summarize that.
Yes, amazing. There are very many factors that will come into play. I don't know if you guys have heard about the pest analysis, but before it is external, it is first internal. And somebody said failure to plan is planning to fail. If you've planned yourself properly, and if let me assume that you are a faith-driven kind of a person, the first currency you must have is faith. And the reason you're planning is because you have faith that this particular, I have analyzed the market, I know my customer, I have now done my minimum viable product, and I want to release it into the market. And I believe they're going to respond to it. So the reason they fail in the first 5 years, number one, poor management. Then lack of structure. Most people begin just haphazardly. You have no legal structure. You have no legal framework. You do not have the A team. You not put out the right team. So you have the wrong talent. You have the right product, but wrong talent. It's gonna fail. Then poor financial planning. If you have no proper system of how your finances are going to be moving, your cash flow, your investor returns, revenue, all those things, you're going to fail. Then lastly, external factors are a contributor, but they're the last. So when I'm talking about the pest analysis, I'm talking about political environment. So how does the environment, before you enter into business, you must go and look at policy. What policies in this field, and how does it affect how is the regulation working on my part? Then economical environment. How is the response of the customer in terms of the value I'm giving? Or what is the margin of benefit I'm getting as a person indulging in this particular business? Then the social environment. How is the community responding to the value they're getting? Then technological environment. How are the changes I'm seeing around benefiting from them? So you can choose to complain about the taxation, or weave around a way you can maneuver and manipulate yourself out. And that way you'll succeed.
Wonderful. The second question is from Anne, and she's asking, is it true that most businesses fail because of lack of capital, or are there other hidden reasons?
Lack of capital. I don't know what you're starting your business with, because I'm assuming the business that is failing, it's because it has started. And for it to start, capital must be there, or you must inject capital. So if you've not started the journey, you'll not fail. Please start. Then you will succeed. I'm promising you. And if you fail, it's not a failing lesson. It's a learning lesson for you to reorient and get to the right path. Yes.
Two questions here on finances.
Yes.
One is, can poor financial management alone lead to business failure, even if the idea is great? Another one is, how can small business manage cash flow better to avoid failing?
Amazing. Poor financial management. The currency of exchange in any business is money. And somebody said, whatever you mismanage, it will be taken away. And whatever you manage can be improved. So if the idea is great and the finances, that the currency of perpetuating that idea is wrong, you'll automatically fail. Look at our country right now. If I was to give an instance in that particular format, we have very many projects. We have very many viable arable land, a lot of things. But where are we now? If the systems are properly synchronized, the structures are properly working, then we'll be working towards succession. So it's true that you can have a great idea, but if you manage your finances improperly, you're going to fail. So the idea, having an idea is not enough, but properly synchronizing the systems, the procedures, the processes, so that they succeed the idea is better. Very many people, you can give them a great idea, without finances, they'll turn that idea into finances. There are people with very many millions. They have the financial muscle. We give them a great idea, they can't execute it. So the problem is not with the idea. The pipeline that is making that idea become of value to the customer, become of value to the population, become of value to the community.
And the cash flow bit?
Yes, the cash flow. How can small businesses manage cash flows? I think you should have a ledger book currently, or if not a ledger book, just have a notebook of how you track what comes in and how it goes out, and how if there's any deduction, the loans you have such a thing. Keep checking your statements. Review your statements. You can even get a financial advisor or financial firms to get an account with them and begin to consult with them. Very critical. And then lastly, create a small feasible financial structure. When the money comes in, how does it exit? How do you plow back? How can somebody come and invest? How do you balance your payments? How do you balance your bills? How do you balance your expenditure? How do you balance your suppliers? All those things. It's very critical. Then ensure you're get the cheapest or the most convenient supplier for yourself. Have your own secrets. It's very critical in terms of finances. Have your own secrets. Where you're getting the best loan and how you're getting it. That's your own secret. So it's very critical that you create financial structure, even if it's just a small financial structure. When you come in, who receives the receipt or where the receipts being filed, the ledger book, who handles the ledger book, which product, how do you track assets? The products that have been sold, because if you don't track them, then you won't know how they move. Then if you're making any profits, how is that profit going to be used? So have, if not a business policy, then a personal policy. Base them on your values, and those values are going to enable your decision making.
Okay. Someone from CBD, Stella. Thank you, Stella, for writing to us. The question is, what's the impact of relying too much on loans to start a business?
Sorry? The impact of relying too much
on
loans starting a business. I think the cost of financing a loan is higher than just injecting direct resources. In our setup, I think our credit industry right now, the rates are at 12% or 14%, depending on which bank you're going to. So if the idea is not feasible, the idea has not been tested properly, and you're not assured of profit, if you fall insolvent, you can see the effect of that particular loan. So I still advise you get that loan, but after testing your product, not as the capital to start a business. Yes, there are those, for instance, an LPO, you've gotten a tender, those can be financed by a loan because the product there's a demand for the product already. But if it's a new product, I recommend not to. Have a minimum viable product, and then now get the loan to finance the product to the long run. So it's very critical you get to, there are even banks and institutions that are offering cheaper. So it also depends on what type of loan. We have good debt and bad debt. Good debt is when you're converting that debt into value and profit. Bad debt is when you're using that particular business for personal use, or you've not mastered your business as yet, then you're going for a loan. So you're going to default. And when you default, your business has lost value.
Lewis is asking, do businesses fail because of competition, or is it poor strategy in handling competition?
Do business fail because of competition or poor strategy
in handling competition?
Handling competition. I think you have an answer there. And it's very critical that, competition is not as a big problem. How you maneuver around it as a businessman, especially, that's why you need to be very wise and very, very tactical. Great businessmen like Elon Musk, name them. They're tactical in their moves. So if you have no strategy, even without competition, you're still going to fail. And if you have a strategy, you're assured if not failing, you're going to cushion yourself around and maneuver. And it's critical that you get to have a plan for your competitor as well. If they're rising, that's why we talked about competitor analysis. And as you're analyzing your strengths, you're analyzing their weaknesses, you're always adapting to make sure that the trends that are as they're coming by, you are apt and you're on time. You're apt and you're on time. Then learn to respond really fast. Don't spend time planning more. Spend time executing the plan than planning. Most of the businessmen or most of us business people, we spend time writing processes, procedures, SOPs instead of executing. So it's critical that you become a fast mover so that you can always give your competitor time to bounce back or to get out of the market.
Another question from Koi. Koi is asking, how can a business owner know if their business ideas is viable before starting?
How is it viable before starting? Is there a valid, or rather, is there a demand for that particular product? Do a market survey, do a poll, do a search. Is there such a thing? Is there such a problem? Then is that problem big enough that it requires a solution? Then a customer is willing to pay for that particular solution. So when you do that, then create a small portion of that particular product. Test it, or you can even do pre-orders. Create a product before you even manufacture it. Do pre-orders. Then from the pre-orders, you can now get to gauge what is the demand, how much are people willing to pay, then how much are people clicking on this particular link to get the product, and then you can now launch it. So it's critical you do a pre-order or a preparation before launching the product. So build it, measure it, and then learn from it. Then after learning from it, launch the product. Yes.
Okay. Another question, how often should businesses revisit and adjust their strategies to avoid falling behind?
To avoid falling behind. It matters what policy you've taken as a business. But I personally, from short term, mid term to long term, you must have strategies for those periods. Short term, 1 to 3 months, mid term for a year, 6 months, or 1 year. If you're already established, you can do 2 years, 3 years, but keep your eyes on what is happening around you. Google trends, what is happening, what changes are happening in policy. You are always supposed to be alert. And that is the need for a research and development department in any business. It's very critical because these are the people who are gathering data, whatever is happening, feedback. So they can always, while they're briefing you, you can always see there's a change here. This ecosystem, in this business ecosystem, there's a shift here. So it's critical. You can choose what to do, but make sure you have a mid-term strategy, short-term strategy, then you have a long-term strategy. The long-term, this is where we're ending up. And this is what we are doing as a strategic plan. These are the tactics you're going to be using in case of this particular. And then have a crisis management framework or policy for your business. So that any changes that are happening, make sure you're adapting to them immediately. And I'm preferring that business people adopt the spirit of speed. There is that bit of that bit of going ahead, that bit of capturing your customers earlier. There's that bit of perhaps you might fall into the trap earlier, but don't be afraid. If it's worth the risk, take it, then learn from it. Yes.
Another question from Hannah. Hannah is asking, hi and good morning. Do businesses fail because they overpromise and underdeliver to their customers?
Quality. You overpromise and you underdeliver. So you've not fulfilled
like politicians.
That's compromising on your brand. So a business would it will not necessarily end up in failure, but that's a marker that you might end up in failure if you don't correct it in time. So if there's a clientele you're going to miss if you overpromise and underdeliver, and not everybody loves inconvenience. And it's hard for you to acquire a new client than retaining those. So if you overpromise and you underdeliver, your customer retention is affected. And when your customer retention is affected, your profits are going to be eventually affected. And when your profit is affected, you are leading towards what? Failure. So it's still an ingredient that's supposed to be checked quite critically. And adopt a spirit of fulfilling what you promise. At least your core values as a business, it should always achieve the mandate for your business. Because if we are doing, we end up doing such kind of business, we are not serious people. And when we lose seriousness, we are lacking what value to promise people we're going to be offering to the world.
One more question from Justin in Gumba. Thank you for staying tuned. The question is, does hiring the wrong team contribute to the downfall of a business?
Hiring the wrong team, contributing to the long fall, yes. You are as high or you are as great as your team. You can be a bad executor, but if you have a good machinery, I'm assured of success. You can be a bad driver, but in your circle, if there's a good driver, I'm assured the destination is going to be, we're going to achieve it. So having the right talent is very necessary, because the talent is what is going to turn the idea into a product. The talent is what going to turn a prospective client into a sale. The talent is what is going to attract a certain caliber of clientele. So it's critical that you get to build the right team. They have the right skill set. Then you must have a plan for the skill development. If you don't have, then you're not willing to scale. And if you're not willing to scale, how long are you going to stay in business? So your team is very critical, and it's as important as your decisions. Any decision made by a great team, you might have a very poor plan, but with a great team, you're going to execute it properly, because they're going to see the hitches when they are necessary. They're going to see the moves before they are made. So a great team is very critical. The right skill set, right training, right values, then connected to the purpose of the business. And once they're connected, you're assured of profit. Yes.
Thank you very much. For those who have been watching us, thank you very much for staying tuned this far. We have some wonderful comments from some of you, and I just read one for today. And I would like to encourage each one of you, especially if you've been watching us on YouTube and Facebook, please leave a comment so that we can know that you're watching, and let us know where you're watching from. If this has benefited you, just let us know. It will encourage us to bring much more similar programs. Someone known as Davy is saying this is insightful. I'm sure after this show, hundreds of young people are going to maneuver in the world of business without difficulty. Thanks very much, host and your guest, Master Stan. Thank you very much, David, for watching and leaving that encouraging comments. Remember, you can support this program. You can also comment. You can like, share, subscribe, and that will go a long way in ensuring us that we affect many more lives in the area of business by trying to make sure that their businesses succeed. This has been a discussion on why most businesses fail. And thank you very much, Stanley, for the discussion. And you can give us some parting shots and also introduce yourself, your business and what you do, and give the contacts to the viewer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was such a great and insightful conversation. I'm hoping from the insight we've shared here, and those that we've not shared as yet, you're going to benefit and take your business from the crumbling pits to the places of success. And you have the components for greatness, just like any other person. There's no difference between them and you if you only choose to make it happen. So it's critical that after learning, you get to a moment of execution. And after execution, you can get to a moment of giving back. So as you're doing business, please connect your purpose to it. And as you connect your purpose to it, endeavor to make a difference in the lives of people. So I'm still Stanley Museti, yes, the founder of Leadership International. If you are interested in leadership programs, you can link with us. And also, we also offer bespoke suits and customized suits for you at Master Drip. You can check us on Facebook and Instagram at Master Drip KE. And if you also be interested to link up with me, you can get me on 0715 238785. I'm also alive and active on all social media platforms. You can still connect with me there for further consultations. Thank you.
Biscop suits. Biscop. Those are customized.
Yes.
Wonderful. I like that. Lewis, your parting shots.
Thank you once again, our viewers, for always giving us your audience and always encouraging us to continue being of impact to us and to Master Stan. Thank you so much for such a wonderful moment. I mean, every bit of it was very insightful, and looking forward to having more of this. So once again, we always say that it's not the noise you make, but the impact you create. Be consistent in what you do, remain purposeful, and intentionality is key. As always, it's your digital coach, Lewis Ndege, all the way from Certitude Digital Training Center. Until later, bye-bye.
So thank you very much, my guest and also
you.
my co-host for such a wonderful program. And thank you very much, viewer, for staying tuned this far. I know that you've picked up something today. Until next time, I want to say God bless you very much and let your business be successful. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.